Hey guys, new video here. Finally getting to making this. Which blueprint is the best? Which one should you run? And minimum requirements to run the blueprint. So right here we have two very popular ones. This is a 17 currency underbelly. Probably the most popular one due to its speed and reliability. And this one's also another popular one. It's a 15 currency unusual gems. And as you look at the other rooms, the only kind of bad room in this one is the two essences. So you get a nice mix of currency and other pretty good rooms. So which one is better to run? Well, we tested that on stream. The parameters were that we tracked everything with Excellence Next. We timed it. We had a timer running to do 10 of each of these. Now I've run hundreds of these, okay, combined, maybe like over 300 blueprints at this point. And they are pretty darn good. Okay, overall I would say that you really can't lose money running these unless certain criteria are not met, which I'll talk about later. But the repository one, this one right here, had a value of 5012 C value. Okay, an important thing to know about these blueprints is that when you type in currency into your search here, most of the stuff you get is actually currency, because if you look at this, Harbinger stuff, the currency stuff, some of the splinters, the fragments, these things will be returned as currency. Okay, and so that's very important to note that most of it is liquid currency that you can sell. And so we have 5012 C value on the repository, and the underbelly, this one right here, has a value of 4547 C. Within some range of error, because of sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you get unlucky, but from what we tested, everything seemed to be pretty above board, pretty normal. You can watch the VODs on my Twitch channel if you like to see the full runs. Overall, the thing I have to say is that the fastest one wins out by far, and that is the underbelly. And the reason for this is because, from just memory, there's not a single currency chest on the underbelly that requires a cast bar. What I mean by that is that once Tibbs smashes through the wall, once the demolition is done, once the agility is done, and the door opens, okay, you go in, you click on the two chests, and that's it. You click on two chests, all the loot pops out, there's no more waiting. On the blueprint for the repository, right, and many other blueprints that you'll notice, there's other ones that you could be running. You'll notice that when you break open the door, there's that waiting period. And then there's also maybe up to 2 waiting periods where the master, whether it's Nanette, Vindiri, Karst, they have to open the chest again. And that is really bad because that adds so much time. And for example, this one and other ones I've tested, most of the time this is the case where you're waiting. So if you look at the numbers here, the underbelly took 1 hour and 58 minutes to run 10 of them. Okay, so pretty fast. The repository took 2 hours and 45 minutes, so almost an hour more. And yes, it did generate a little bit more value, right? But this could be because of RNG and stuff like that. But even though nothing crazy really happened, and so you have to think about, with that 1 hour, what could you have done? Well, you could have run a few more of the underbelly, right? You could have run a few more of the fast one. And because we know that if you look at the numbers, you convert that to the current Exalt price of 70 C per. If you look at those values, it's very easy to see that for the throughput, right, you should be running the underbelly. It is incredibly fast. There's not a single cast bar once you open the door, and it was quite reliable in both Exalts and other things. Now, obviously, if you look at the other rooms, unique rooms, pretty damn bad, right? Map rooms, kind of bad, I'd say. And then essence rooms are, of course, bad. So you only have the 2 Harbinger and the div card room versus the other ones that, look at this one. This one has 2 breach rooms, so pure stones drop sometimes. Fragments are amazing because Sulfty Scarabs can drop. Those are very valuable right now, along with Elder fragments and Shaper fragments. And the fossils are excellent because, if you're going to buy in bulk, corroded fossils, very, very expensive. And even other little things like shuddering fossils, and these things drop gilded, perfect fossils. They drop really reliably. And then it's got 2 divination card rooms and a deli orb, delirium room, which can drop delirium splinters. So overall, what you're looking at is do you want more value per blueprint run, which would be go to fractured blueprints like this one, or do you want throughput, which just means grinding it out, and per time you make more money, but they got some more time fracturing, and then you might not have like as many of the other good rooms, but it is by far better to run something that takes less time. And as you can see from the numbers here, the time is just it's just so crazy how much faster the underbelly was. I was running them both, and I was trying to go max efficiency. One thing to note is I did skip essence rooms, I did skip map rooms, and unique rooms. The reason for this is because those rooms, if you've ever done like hundreds of these contracts, blueprints, the complete trash. Yes, you can get crazy stuff from it. Yes, I've seen a double badge. Yes, I've seen double headhunter. Yes, I've seen like people link me these contraband items. But is it going to happen to you? On average, no. So that's why I skipped them. And you can like test around with this as you want. And but I think you'll find that skipping those rooms is the better play in terms of throughput. Once again, the purest currency per second when it comes down to it, right? So that's my findings there. And once again, I really suggest you go watch the VODs if you want some more details on how I felt about during it, because you have to think about like, how does it feel waiting for rooms, right? And you don't really notice this until you do 10 of these and then you do 10 of these, right? Because waiting around is only a few seconds each cast, right? But it is a long time, and waiting around sucks, right? Waiting around is also kind of dangerous if you know what I mean, if you have like a less tanky character. And so it just becomes a fact of like, are you annoyed by waiting for doors? If you're annoyed by waiting for doors, waiting for cast bars, possible rogues bugging out, then this one becomes even better. And this one's also mapped out really, really well. I feel like this one has a really smooth progression to it. There's only like one room that's kind of annoying. It's the top left zone. And I really suggest that you do this one if you're starting out, and then if you want to take a little bit longer but get a little bit more chance of bigger rewards. So like the spikes will be higher on this one, right? Because of the fossils and the fragments and the breach things that you'll have to sell later on, right? And then obviously this has like more good rooms overall than this one. So that's all I have to say about that. Let's talk about, people often ask, what do I need to get started fracturing? Because it's not really like just put on the stuff and just try one and make some money. It's not like that. If you don't do it correctly, you're going to lose money every time. And we've seen a lot of data now. And so we've kind of come to a safe suggestion of that. The minimum requirements for running a blueprint would be, you're going to get a trinket that has regals to exalts. The reason that the things to C conversions suck is because those items that convert into C don't draw very often from the chest that you're clicking on. They are very rare comparative to their percentages. You can just 100% trust me on this, and anyone you talk to who has run these blueprints will tell you the exact same thing. Don't get the double C trinket. Don't get any like C or like regal to divine trinket. It's just not worth it. And if you really want to prove this to yourself, just put like augments, transmutes, and alterations on your filter with the exalt sound or something, and you'll really see what I mean. So I would say the minimum is for the trinket is a 3% real to exalt, just to be safe. When you think of numbers, like, it's very easy to think in your mind, well, 2% is only half of 4%. And when you look at the numbers of regals dropped versus exalted drops, things like that, you're going to see that you'd be like, okay, well, if I just take out like half the conversion drops, right, regal to exalt conversion drops, then I'm still making money, right? But what you need to realize is that there's a thing called variance. And if you look at the numbers, variance makes it, what it basically means is that if you have a 2%, right, the chance to get unlucky is greater, right? Because you go it just means that the chance to go on streaks, like bad streaks, is higher. So it's kind of like if someone offered you a 50% chance to make $1 a day, right, versus a 10% chance to make it has to be 5 times more, right? Okay, hold on, this is kind of hard. $5. Okay, yeah. Sorry, a 10% chance to make $5 a day, right? Which one would you take, right? Because the 50% option would be, man, I feel really dumb right now. I should put on this overlay right now. I'm trying to do this example, okay? Like the expected return is the same. I'm trying to get like a 50-cent expected return per day. But like the 50% chance to get $1 a day would be it would be like more reliable, right? That's kind of what I'm saying with this example. Okay, so get a 3% or more trinket, and you have to get that. And then as for the rogue gear, okay, the rogue gear, the minimum requirements is you have to have a of silence cloak. Okay, you just have to have that because it's gonna like level out your alert level, you're gonna be able to open all the important chests. And if you want, you can get a mod that's a chance, doesn't have to be tier 1, but a chance to open a chest and not generate alert level. That does stack up with the 3 rogues, and it's really helpful, but you don't have to have that. But absolute minimum you need of silence, okay? And then a luxury is any tier of chance not to generate alert level. You really only need 3 of them, because if you really are like struggling for money, you can just take those 3 and put them on the rogues that you need for the wing, okay? If it's snapshots, which some people think it does, you might need 6, I think, that are in this blueprint. Basically, whoever goes in there, you might need that many, but just get that cloak. As for the brooch, the only thing you need on here, this one is really easy. You can roll it yourself. The absolute minimum is tier 1. You have to have tier 1 chance to duplicate currency, and it has to be divine to 15, okay? There's no reason not to do that because it's so easy and so cheap. So even if you're like, oh, well, I have 13 or I have 12, it's kind of the same thing. Who cares? It's not. Just get the 15 on there and you're good to go. No other mod really matters, because the currency is like the bulk of the juice, okay? And this thing works on things like even like safes and like small chests and things like that. So that's all you need. That is the minimum. The other things I would recommend as luxuries is that if you can get +1 level of all jobs, okay, not character level, +1 level of all jobs on all your characters, that helps a lot because of the percentage of the buff to the perks. And then of course the chance to not generate alert level, this stacks with the cloaks, so very strong. And once again, I don't even have tier 1, but you can try to get tier 1 if you want, but you don't have to. These are luxuries beyond the cloak and the brooch, which are mandatory. So once again, of silence and of the horde, okay, 15%, 12% on every rogue that goes with you, and 3% trinket. Those are the minimum requirements. And then beyond that, if you want to do some homework yourself, in my Twitch chat channel, you can type !map. I have mapped out the guaranteed small chests in both of these zones. And what that means is that because you're duplicating these with a fractured fossil, you are basically the small chests, they might flip-flop a couple times, but they are always in the same places and they're always guaranteed. So for example, the underbelly will always have 4 small chests with guaranteed currency, and you get a lot of results out of those over time. So you have to like kind of memorize where those are and then make sure you hit those every time. You can ignore all the other chests. And that's a little bit more for you, like if you want to go one step further, because you will memorize these layouts very quickly as you are running them, and it'll help you a lot, right, to get started by just seeing a map of it. And I have them laid out in the quadrants. So like if you look at the top left picture, that will be the top left wing. Bottom right picture will be the bottom right wing in that command there. So you can check that out too. I might even put it below the YouTube video, so you guys can just click it right there. Okay. The unluckiest I've ever been, a few times actually, is 3 blueprints without a single exalt drops. Okay, this is a matter of streaks, and in the long run, I have made hundreds, if not like over 1,000 exalts from doing these. And they are very reliable in the long term. There'll be huge streaks where you're like, wow, it's crazy. If you run this one, you get like, get some trinkets, you get some exalties, you get some double exalties, you get a few times, you get like quad exalty drops. On this one, sometimes you get a lot of pure stones, sometimes you get a lot of ancient orbs, sometimes you got a lot of, you get a lot of good fossils or like fragments or like scarabs. And then at the end, maybe a prime lens, maybe a gem worth like 13 to 20 exalts. So they're all really good, but you have to think long term. This is not something that you do for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 and you call it a day and it's like, oh, okay, I made some money. No, this is like in the very long run, you will make a lot of money. But in the short run, if you're someone who gets discouraged by bad luck streaks, or maybe you run one and you feel like you didn't make anything, right? But you don't know how to sell things or actually attribute value to things, then I would not recommend this. If you have, I'll say if you have less than to weather some bad luck, let's say you have like even less than like 20 exalts, right, to spend. And there's no big upgrades you need for your character, then I wouldn't really do it. Additionally, it does need to be said that if your character has any chance of dying on the way out, I wouldn't do it, okay? Because both on the gem one and the currency one, let's say you get something good at the end, right? Let's say you hit lockdown and maybe even you hit a safe after lockdown, you get a nice little reward like an ancient orb, an exalty, a nice trinket. So it's like the minimum is 4 exalts. And then gem room, prime lens, secondary lens, very valuable gem worth over like 10, 13 exalts, whatever. If you have any chance of dying, don't do this, okay? Because it's just so detrimental. Even dying once, like 20, 30 runs, you're not going to want to do this. You have to have a character that cannot possibly die after the lockdown hits. I cannot stress this enough. And if you want to go through it at your own risk, you can, but I'm just telling you, please have a character that cannot possibly die. And you'll have a lot more fun. You know, it's less stressful. You can do more of these. And that's my recommendations, and that's the video. So if you have any more questions, you know, I'm doing these every day. We have lots and lots of data. You can watch my old videos for other data and on some of these runs, and they're really fun and they're really cool. And the more, I will say that the more you invest in your rose, the more you invest in your trinket, the more fun it becomes. Okay, so yeah, you can ask me any questions on twitch.tv/Kijal_. I stream every evening, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video. Okay, bye guys, I'll see you guys later. Bye.